Am I the a-hole for telling my lesbian ex-wife that her partner cannot be my son's mom? Plus updates. Original post. Hi all. Throwaway because my friends are not completely aware of this current situation. I, 35 male, was married to my ex-wife, 34 female, for 7 years. 2 years ago, my ex-wife came out as a lesbian. This came as a complete shock to me. She and her partner were co-workers who had an affair since she joined the company a year before our divorce. We have a son together, 8 male. I was heartbroken and devastated. I felt betrayed as I had spent 7 years of my life married to this woman, and it all felt like a lie now. When I confronted her, she told me that she had to live her truth and that she tried to suppress her identity because she didn't come to terms with it until she met her partner. When I asked whether she loved me, she told me that while she loves me, it's different than how she loved her new partner. This broke my heart even further. The divorce was quick as she did not want anything from me, and we agreed to a 50-50 split of custody, but I decided to go no contact with her and handled the custody transfer process through my sister, 27 female, whom I moved in with after the divorce. I sold the house, and we mutually agreed that the excess money from the sale would go into a college fund for our son in the future. I could not bear to stay in that house anymore, as it kept reminding me of her betrayal. For context, she introduced her partner as her work friend, and I believed her. I had no reason to suspect anything. And they had several girls' nights, but I figured that they were probably using these as cover for the affair. For 6 months, I was in a depressive state because I didn't know where I went wrong. But this is one of those scenarios where anything I would have done wouldn't have been able to make it better. This made me even more depressed, and the fact that all the vows and little things that she said at our wedding were all just lies trying to keep up a ruse made it even worse. The 2 people that got me through this state were my sister, whom I am eternally grateful to for helping with her nephew and helping me while maintaining her career, and my college ex-girlfriend. Around 4 months after the divorce, we reconnected at a reunion, and she really helped me through the worst of it as a friend. Around a year after the divorce, we started officially dating, and I introduced her to my son. During all this time, my ex's partner had limited interactions with my son. This was not because of me saying anything, but because my ex-wife wanted him to adjust to his new reality. My son is in that weird age where he understands what's going on, but he doesn't really understand what's actually going on. If you know, you know. He understands that mommy has a girlfriend and that me and his mom are not together anymore. I'm pretty happy considering we didn't really talk to him about the LGBTQ+ stuff because we had decided that we could talk about this when he's a bit older, but I'm happy that he's come to terms with the divorce. Around 8 months ago, my ex said that she was officially moving in with her partner and that she was engaged. At this point, I still was on no contact except for brief conversations that concerned our son. She invited me to the wedding, but I declined. They were planning to have a destination wedding in Spain, where her girlfriend lives. She wanted to take our son to the wedding, and he would have to miss school for a week since she wanted him to meet her girlfriend's family as well. I told her that missing school for a week did not make sense, and that she should plan her wedding when he has vacation, since she didn't have a fixed date yet. She argued that most likely they wouldn't have a date that would align with his vacations, and that they were getting married as soon as possible. I relented and agreed since I didn't want to interact with her anymore, and it was well within her rights to have her son at her wedding. The problem started when my son came back after the wedding. He was supposed to stay with me since we have a flexible week-in, week-out custody arrangement. She wanted to take my son on her honeymoon so that he would have a chance to bond with his new stepmother. I told her that she had already had 2 weeks with him since she had custody for a week before the wedding, and that I wanted to spend some father-son time with him. I told her that it was well within my rights and that she should go spend some time with her new wife. She argued that since our son's interactions with her partner were limited because of her busy schedule, this was a great opportunity for them to bond. I told her that she had 2 weeks for him to get to know her partner. She said that they were busy with the wedding and did not have time. I told her that I had taken vacation days for us to go to a motorcycle expo and build a Lego set, 2 things that my son absolutely loves. She kept arguing, and I finally told her that the custody arrangement was placed for a reason, and that's the one thing I will not negotiate on. She got angry at me and left. Me and my son had a great experience. I even got him one of those kid-sized motorcycles since he liked them so much. Over the next few weeks, we returned to our week-in, week-out routine. One day, I found that my ex posted a photo shoot of them and my son under a caption of #LesbianMummies. I thought that it was just a post and probably meant nothing, but it was showing them as a family, and something about that did not sit right with me. When I got my son for the week, I asked him if his mom was saying anything to him. He hesitated a bit, but told me that his mother had been trying to convince him to call her partner his mom. This was a shock to me, as I never expected my ex to do this. Then again, I've been wrong about these things before. I asked him if that's something he wanted, and he told me that he is much more comfortable calling her by her first name, and that he feels weird calling two people mom. I told him it's okay and that he shouldn't feel pressured to do anything. I called my ex and asked her to meet up because this was serious and I wanted to discuss this. I confronted her about this, and she told me that since she and her partner were married, it's only natural for our son to have two moms now. I told her that it's not okay for her to try and convince him to call her partner his mom because she is not his mother. She doesn't have an active parenting role in his life, and that any major parenting decisions require the two of us. She tried making an argument that since me and my girlfriend were becoming serious now, eventually I might want him to start calling her mom. I told her even if we become serious, I won't try to convince our son to start calling her mom because he already has two parents and he doesn't need more. That's when she dropped the bombshell on me. She told me that she and her partner were hoping that eventually, down the line, they can file for adoption. I'd still be able to visit and see my son, but she wanted her and her wife to have legal guardianship because they wanted to build a new family with him. I told her absolutely not, and that our partners have no say in our kid's life. She accused me of being homophobic for denying her the right to a complete family, and I told her while her life is her choice, our son's life has to be a thing that we decide ourselves. I ended the conversation there and told my son to tell me if his mother tries to force him to do anything that he doesn't want to do. 3 weeks later, I found out that my ex had enrolled him in Spanish lessons that he told me he hated doing. For context, my ex is Latin and her partner is Spanish, so they are more comfortable talking to each other in Spanish. We made the decision to raise our son in English because it made sense at the time, as she speaks English better than Spanish, and I don't speak any Spanish. When I discussed this with her, she told me that she would like her son to connect more to his heritage. I said that I don't have any problem with that, but we had tried this several times before when we were married, and he had shown zero interest in it. She told me that this time might be different, since he will have two Spanish speakers at home. I told her that I am in full favor of bilingualism because two languages are always an advantage, especially for kids, but if he doesn't want to do it, there's no reason to force him to do it. Maybe try another language? She then accused me of denying our son his roots and went on a tirade, accusing me of denying our son his identity and circling back to me denying her the right to a family. My girlfriend usually stays out of these matters, but she advised me to contact my lawyer and see what they can actually do. My lawyer told me that even if they send an adoption notice, I can contest it, and it would take something exceptional like abandonment, etc. for my contest to get rejected. My ex keeps posting our son as a part of her new family, and it's honestly started to trigger me. 2 weeks ago, I interacted for the first time with my ex's new wife after the divorce. She contacted me and asked to meet up. She told me that my ex had finally started to recover from the social trauma of coming out and building a new life with her, and that I am now getting in the way of their happiness. She accused me of being emotionless and uncaring through our divorce, and how I guilt-tripped her into agreeing to my demands of 50-50 custody, and how I should just agree to the eventual adoption in a few years, because she has always wanted a son, and that I will still remain my son's dad, and I can still visit him. I told her that I don't care what her emotional state was during the divorce, and that my demands were fair, even to the most irrational person. I told her that if they want to create this image of a perfect family, then they should have another kid that has no connection to me. I feel like all this has started to affect my son more than anything. He is a lot less happy than he was just a few months ago, as we had started to adjust to this new reality. For context, since I know this is gonna come up eventually, the emotional trauma of my ex coming out is basically the fact that her family effectively disowned her after coming out. Her parents don't talk to her anymore, while my son has plenty of interactions with his maternal grandparents when he's with me. Those two combined make significantly more money than I do alone. However, my ex-wife makes less money than me, but her partner is in a senior position, so she has more stability. This is also an argument my ex-wife used when we discussed adoption, since they could then send our son to a private school and generally give him a better life. I don't know if this is a factor, but the recent elections may have caused this because they are worried that they might not be able to adopt soon. But they don't want to adopt my son now only in a few years, so I doubt this to be true. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. Your ex is trying to erase you from your own son's life. Document this as much as possible. In case they do attempt to file for adoption, you will have proof they are just trying to push you out for their own benefit. I would also get your son in therapy if possible. It must be so uncomfortable and difficult for him. Also, as a lesbian, you're not being homophobic. Your ex and her wife are cooked and need to touch grass. She's also prepping for parental kidnapping. With the mommy naming, Spanish lessons, and adoption, her affair partner lives in Spain. Next, they'll want a travel waiver with the State Department, and OP will never see his kid again. Vacation will be the excuse. When he mentioned that the new wife lives in Spain and that's where they were getting married, alarm bells started going off. OP, do not give your ex permission to take him out of the States again. You may never get him back. Now for the first update. Hi all, it's been crazy seeing everyone's reactions to the situation, and I wanted to share a quick update with you all. First of all, I'd like to clarify that my son and I have been going to therapy since the divorce. He was doing quite well until the whole mom saga happened. My in-laws disowned my ex after she came out. They were not even aware about the affair when she came out to them. They still spend time with my grandson, under the condition that they don't badmouth my ex and don't preach their views to him. They agreed and said that they value their relationship with their grandson over any political view they might hold. I have been a part of every interaction that they have had with him because I was worried they might say something. Thankfully, this has not been the case. Her extended family has said to me that they have all cut her off as well, some for the affair and some for her being gay. Our mutual friends also cut her off because of the affair. All our mutual friends were my work buddies and their spouses/partners. I did not ask them to do anything. They came to the decision on their own. I was actually glad when she told me that she had made a friend on her own, as she used to complain about not liking her colleagues. We all know how that turned out. I'm pretty sure they're not planning to skip the country. I have all my son's documents, and we decided it during the divorce because she was still figuring out where to go, and since I was moving in with my sister, the chances of them getting misplaced were low. I also have had no demands for any documents, and she returned the passport to me when we came back. The whole adoption thing probably stems from the fact that my son has a very close relationship with his mother. The only times he has really complained to me is when she asked him to call her partner mom and that she was making him do Spanish classes that he did not want. We did everything for him equally during our marriage, but I had to travel out of state to my parents frequently during COVID because they were sick with pre-existing conditions and couldn't take care of themselves. My sister was on an assignment abroad at that time. My sister also agreed with this. Please let me know your thoughts. I listened to people and contacted my lawyer, who is also my friend, this morning. He told me the same thing as last time, that it would take something really unusual for the adoption process to go through, like child abandonment. He also said that they're a bunch of idiots who have no idea how the law works. He also told me that if the whole "we want to adopt him" is a real thing, and if she is talking crap about me to my son and I could prove it, I could get custody. This has not been the case, as I've not heard my son say that his mom says bad things about me. This brought me a sigh of relief. I plan to contact my ex today with the following conditions. 1. We both install parenting apps and document all interactions. 2. No more mention to me or my son regarding adoption or calling her partner mom. 3. No more posting images of my son as a part of their perfect queer family. Because frankly, I don't want my son's photos on the internet when he is so young. He can decide what he wants when he is older. I plan to talk to my ex in a couple of hours. Please let me know what you think about this. I'm sure that living your life in the closet and then coming out only to find your worst fears were true, family abandonment, is devastating. However, while her emotions are valid, how she is handling them is horrible. She is literally using her son as a pawn. And any aversion she's receiving she genuinely believes is homophobia, rather than the fact that she's genuinely being a terrible mother. You have every right to live your truth, but you cannot just erase the father of your child. I agree that her emotions regarding coming out are valid, but the whole thing has been overshadowed by the fact that she is gay. I'm trying my best to treat this the same way if the affair was with a man, but I have to disagree when you say that she has been a terrible mother. She has not said anything to my son that's negative, nor has she done anything wrong with him yet, apart from the calling her wife mom thing. Okay, maybe not a terrible mother, you're right, but her choices/thoughts of trying to adopt your child and move to another country? That's not putting your child first, that's putting yourself first. I agree with that, and I have to say that she's changed a lot after the divorce. I didn't really discuss this in the post, but there have been a lot of changes in the way she looks and acts. So far, none of that has affected our son in any negative way. Now for the second update. So I talked to my ex today. She was busy yesterday, and I wanted some more time to gather my thoughts. When we met, I put forth my demands. She told me that the parenting app idea seems fine, and that she has no problem with it. She got sad when I told her to drop the idea of adoption and calling her partner mom, as it's just not gonna happen. She told me that her family was pressuring her to settle down. I proposed after a year of dating and did not know this. And getting pregnant so soon after getting married was not what she had in mind. She got pregnant 1.5 years after getting married. Is that soon? I don't know. She told me that she was in the closet all her life because of her parents, and that she thought marrying me would cause her feelings to subside, and that she was happy until she met her partner. She did go through postpartum depression after giving birth, but I did not know that she didn't want to get pregnant so soon. She then told me that the reason she and her wife wanted to adopt my son was because she wanted to start new. She said that she was never really happy during our marriage, and that with her new wife, she could have the family she always dreamt of having. She didn't want my son to grow up resenting her for being a lesbian, as he doesn't have either any exposure to people like her apart from her and her partner. Look, I have to be honest here. I don't know any gay people, nor is anyone in my friends or family gay. We never talked about these things because it simply doesn't come up in our daily life. But that doesn't mean me and my son have no idea who they are, especially after the divorce. I told her that this is not going to happen and that he has had a lot of exposure to people from her community. I told her that it seems like a BS reason for separating my son and me, and that she is just making up some random excuse to make it seem justified. After some arguing, she told me the real reason why she and her partner want to adopt my son. Reddit is crazy for their prediction abilities. Like, honestly, wow. Apparently, they wanted to adopt my son because her wife and she are considering moving to Spain in a few years. I told her that she can't do that, and that the legal framework supports me and my rights in both countries. She told me she knew this, and that's why they wanted to get me to sign adoption papers. I told her she was crazy, that she in no way is able to do this, as she still needs my permission to take him out of the country, just like she did when they got married in Spain. I also read a comment yesterday on the update and researched a bit on the laws regarding this, so I know this is not happening. She told me again that they had done their research, and that this was to see if I would agree. In case I agreed, they would consider moving, and in case I didn't, they wouldn't, because she doesn't want to be separated from my son. I again emphasized that this is not going to happen, and that if she tries anything or says anything to my son, I will sue for full custody. She got sad again and told me that they wanted to check with me first. I told her, "In what world would you expect me to give you and your wife full custody? First, you divorce me, leave me for a woman, and then expect me to sign over my child and act like nothing happened?" I told her from this point on, we will document everything, every interaction we have, and that if I even get a whiff of her trying to pull something, I will sue for full custody. She got a bit scared at the idea of losing custody. I guess she didn't really consider me doing that, and she agreed. I then told her not to paint this picture of a picture-perfect queer family that they are trying to do, because that is not going to happen. Our son has a mom and a dad that he spends half his time with, not two moms. He is not her affair partner's son. He is her son and mine. If she wants a child with her wife, she can do so on her own. I then told her that the courts are more likely to side with me than with her in this case because of the things she has been trying to do, and the fact that I work from home and spend more actual time with him than she and her wife. I have been trying for him to have a stable relationship with both parents since the divorce because I don't want him to resent either of us. But if she tries to remove me from his life, I will sue for full custody and deal with any resentment he has for either of us. I didn't want to argue anymore, so I left the room. I secretly recorded the conversation because I wanted to have proof in case anything happens in the future. Honestly, Reddit, I have been very angry at my ex since the divorce. I have not shown it around her or my son because I don't want her to use this against me in any way. And I have been going to therapy, but I am still internally angry. The comments she made today about our marriage really hurt me even more. I spent 7 years with this woman, and her betrayal still makes me angry to this day. When I got home, I contacted my lawyer friend, and he again reiterated that they would have to kidnap him. I asked him if there was anything else we could do, and he said that the current agreement is very thorough. We made sure of that. If I want full custody or not is up to me, but I have to be sure that I want to put myself or my son through the whole process. I don't want my son to grow up without either of his parents, as that is just not healthy for him. That is why I won't sue for full custody now. If they are stupid enough to kidnap him, which I'm sure they're not, then the law sides with me anyway. I know what position her partner has at their workplace, so I know they're making good money. They wouldn't leave it all behind for no good reason. As for the passport thing, I have all his documents, and all things such as notifying travel, hospital visits, and others are already in the signed custody agreement. We already have a legal framework for all this. I am not going to sue for full custody now because I don't want that for my son. My ex-wife is still a good mother and loves him, and he enjoys spending time with her. Plus, my son is the type of person to openly voice what he doesn't find okay to me, so I will know if they continue any of their nonsense. On a more positive note, y'all, I'm not against Spanish lessons, but my son doesn't like them. I was just suggesting that he try some language he likes. There are other languages out there. I didn't say it to my ex then, but now I know she was trying to get him to learn Spanish because of the Spain thing. Thank you to everyone for your support. It really helped me with understanding the problem. Holy crap though, I didn't even consider her wanting to move to Spain until I read the comments. Y'all are great at this. Third update. Hi all. Weirdly enough, I thought the last post was the final update, but a few weird things have happened. My son was with my ex for the last week and came back to me yesterday. I wanted to write this update because people have been very helpful, although I did get some hate messages and DMs. I guess this is typical after posting online. Things have cooled down in the last few days, and so have I. My girlfriend and I decided to get out of the city for a few days when my son was with his mom, and it's been really healthy for both of us. Yesterday, when she dropped my son off, we had a little talk. She apologized and told me that she will not force our son to do anything. She then told me that she is sorry for trying to convince me about adoption and that she will not do it again. I said fine and told her that it was a stupid idea in the first place. She then told me that she had news, that they are planning to adopt a child since they really needed a complete family, and that I should not be forced to give up my son. She sounded a little condescending while she said that, but I didn't go after it too much. I said, "Whatever makes you two happy." She then told me that after they adopt a baby, she wanted to revisit the custody agreement since she will have to make time for the new baby as well. She also told me that they have decided that her wife will be hands-off with my son and won't try to put herself in the role of a parent. I told her okay, and that it's probably for the best since he already has parents. My son also told me that his mom told him he might have a sibling very soon. He said that he was excited at the idea. Personally, I don't think it's bad either, as long as they don't try to push me out of my son's life. Here's where I am a bit conflicted. She told me that she wanted to revisit the custody agreement in the future. I am worried since they couldn't adopt my son, they are now trying to adopt a baby. This seems to me like a weird solution to a weird problem. Revisiting the custody agreement so soon after we had a fight over adoption seems extremely strange to me, and this has been a very odd turn of events. If they could adopt in the first place, then why put me through all that? I genuinely don't know how to react to this now. I don't know if revisiting the custody agreement is a good idea or not. I know I should be happy at the prospect of having more time with my son, but I don't know what to do now. Edit. She didn't put anything in legally right now, but she told me what she wanted. She wanted to switch from a 50-50 to a 75-25, where she would have him for a week in a month. It was all hypothetical, so I don't know whether or not to take it with a grain of salt. Now for some comments before reading the last update. It's a tacit admission from her that since your son can't be adopted and their family be complete that way, they will need less custody to focus on the child that makes their family complete. Your son can't be solely theirs, so they don't need him anymore. Don't be surprised that once they get that baby, they move to Spain and your ex doesn't call your son much, if at all. I don't care if I sound mean, but the ex-wife and her wife don't deserve kids. They are two morally bankrupt and emotionally unstable individuals who tried to use a child as a pawn. She kind of revealed herself there when she admitted that their do-over family is not complete because they can't adopt the son. I already feel sorry for that adopted child. You do nothing but focus on your life, which includes your son. Whatever your ex is doing with her new wife is her circus and not your problem. As long as she's still an attentive mother to your son, that's all that matters. Yeah, but I can't help but feel like she's going to push my son out of her life because she couldn't adopt him. I don't know if that is healthy for my son or not. She told me she wanted to revisit the custody agreement. It also seems like a flimsy solution to the problem they started. If they could have adopted all along, then why only decide to do this now? Now for the last update, 7 months later. Hi everyone, it's been a few months since the last update, but a lot has happened. Basically, a couple of days after my last post, my ex-wife confirmed that they had actively begun looking at adopting a baby and had contacted an agency. A couple of months after that, she told me that we now had to revisit the custody arrangement, as they had received some positive news from their agency. At this point, the custody arrangement worked fine for me and my girlfriend. I told my ex that any custody discussions had to take place in the presence of a lawyer, as I am not trying to make any commitments without lawyers present. We met, and she suggested a weekends arrangement where my son would spend weekends with her and weekdays with me. My simple argument against this was that even if I am now in a work-from-home role, I still have work, and my son has school and extracurriculars. So a majority of our time together is on the weekends. If she took all the weekends, she would in effect have me take care of everything else, and she would enjoy the majority of the free time. She told me that I would spend more time with him since he would be with me around 20 days a month, as opposed to the usual 14 to 15 that I get. I told her that this does not work for me and that she would have to suggest another arrangement for this to work. After some back and forth for a few days, we finally agreed on 2 weekends a month. I was honestly surprised to see her agree to this, because it basically meant he would be with her around 4 to 5 days a month. I was also able to go on vacation with my son this summer, as me, my girlfriend, and he visited India. It was an amazing experience, and I also proposed to my girlfriend on this trip. My son was happy for me. After we came back from vacation, the updated custody agreement kicked in from July. My ex also adopted a baby boy. I was surprised how quick the process was, as from what I learned from Googling, it usually takes longer. My son spent time with me as they were settling with a baby, but the problem was that since school ended, my son had not spent a night at his mom's. While I understood that they needed time to adjust and bond with the new baby, and my ex and my son had regular contact on calls, and we dropped him off twice to spend some time with his baby brother. I was not expecting almost 1.5 months of him not spending a single night at their house. During July, my girlfriend, now fiancé, ended up spending more time with him since she is a teacher and was on summer vacation. They started to become close, especially since I had to go into the office for the past few weeks after the vacation. I felt like a hypocrite in this situation because I was blasting my ex's partner for the same thing. I have contacted my ex repeatedly, but she always tells me that they are busy with the new baby. I didn't know what to do in this scenario, as it is not really in my control. My girlfriend respects the boundaries of a parent and does not try to force my son to do anything he doesn't want to, but she has also started to connect with him and has told me on several occasions that she loves spending time with him. Now the situation is that, last week, my ex finally asked for my son to spend the weekend at their place. I don't know exactly what happened, but my son told my ex about the things my fiancé and he did during the last couple of weeks. And apparently that ticked her off. During the transfer, she went off on me and accused me of being a hypocrite and said that I was forcing my fiancé to be his mom. I told her that we are living together now and the fact is that she is not forcing him to do anything. He does not call her mom, but rather by her first name. I told her that if she wanted to spend time with our son during summer, she should have adhered to the custody arrangement. She told me that she was busy with a baby and finally has some routine and breathing space again. I just told her that we had an arrangement for a reason and that she wanted a change for her new baby. She has no right to complain if our son enjoys spending time with my fiancé. I told her that our son did not enjoy spending time with her partner, and I don't force him to do anything with my fiancé. Thankfully, my son did not hear my rant. Basically, right now the situation is this. She wants things a certain way, and when she gets them and it doesn't work out, she gets angry. I honestly am at a loss for words with this woman. For the past 3 days, I have been considering what to do. I feel like her wife has a significant part to play in this. I have no doubt that my ex loves our son, but I feel like she is subconsciously being forced to play this ideal family dynamic thing. I have seriously started to feel sorry for her for being in this situation, but I have no idea what to do, or any desire to do anything. I was seriously surprised she agreed to the 2 weekends a month arrangement, and I feel like her wife had a major part to play in that decision. I have completely lost the ability to think that I loved her at one point, as she has transformed into a completely different person. My only focus right now is my wedding. My son has also settled into a routine under the new arrangement, and I do not want any change right now. I don't want to waste time, money, and mental health on another custody discussion. I thought I would write this update to rant about the situation. It's been only just over a month since they adopted, and she is already upset about the new custody arrangement. Now, he will spend 2 weekends a month as per the agreement, and I am willing to let her spend time with him during vacations. If she attempts to revisit this arrangement, I am ready to invest some money and discuss this in court. Last story. Am I the a-hole for distancing myself from my friend after his wife called my wife fat? My wife is not fat, but she has gained weight after she delivered our son, and she's still not fat or obese. She used to be skinny, and we both think that it is actually a blessing that she has gained some weight. A month ago, my wife and I went to dinner with my friend and his wife. We hadn't seen them in a long time, almost 2 years. He lives in a different country because of his job, and after they came back, we planned for dinner. We were enjoying our discussion about our old days, but his wife suddenly said that my wife has become fat, and that since they were going to stay in our city for a few months, she would hit the gym and asked my wife to join her. My wife said that she doesn't want to hit the gym yet, but she said if my wife doesn't hit the gym, she will gain even more weight and probably turn obese. I interrupted her and said that my wife is not fat, and if she gave birth and if she was in my wife's place, she would understand. Our little get-together didn't go as well as we were expecting. I was offended and haven't talked to him since last month, and I decided to distance myself from him and his wife. He contacted me and asked me if I took offense with how things went last time. I haven't replied back to him yet, but I want to maintain distance between us and possibly even cut him and his wife off forever. Not the a-hole. You went 2 years without them, and you can go 200 more. Exactly. Some people aren't worth pressing rewind for. Not the a-hole. He didn't say it, but also didn't get his wife to apologize. You should probably give him at least a small explanation as to why you're icing him out, as he may think he shouldn't be punished for what his wife said. And please explain to me why I need to give him an explanation about why I am distancing myself from him. Is he not mature? Does he not know his wife? Does he think what his wife said was appropriate? If he's clueless, or maybe not, and wants to take his wife's side, then what's stopping me from doing the same thing, huh? I quietly distanced myself from him and his wife for my wife and my son. I would rather spend time with my family than him and his wife, and if he can't take the hint, then I don't really want him in my life. We haven't seen each other in the past 2 years anyway, so why not keep our distance from each other forever?